What's up? So, I want to make this video about just an observation from watching an ayahuasca documentary that I was watching. So, this ayahuasca documentary, what I noticed was a lot of the people that went there had one thing in common. They all thought, in a sense, that the ayahuasca was going to heal them, or they all seemed traumatized. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, or whatever. I'm just saying they all seemed like they had trauma that they needed to deal with. But our society doesn't understand, I feel like, ayahuasca or understand these things because these things originally weren't meant for that, right? It was meant for a whole completely different thing. But now that our society of people are like more than half of our society of people are traumatized based on the Western world, so then we go drink the ayahuasca trying to get untraumatized from the Western world, and then what it can do is traumatize you even more, right? There's some people who are like, they'll never do ayahuasca again because it traumatized them so much and it scared them and it made them suicidal and made them whatever. But really, the ayahuasca didn't make them anything. The ayahuasca revealed. It revealed whatever was in them to themselves. Like, it all has to do with what's in you. If what's in you is ego, if what's in you is trauma, if what's in you is self-doubt, if what's in you is jealousy, if what's in you is, if these are the things that are in you, plant psychedelics tend to reveal those things to you. Now, my real thought was the only problem that we have as a society of people is that we have a problem of letting go. We have a problem with letting go. That's really the only thing I noticed with the people. They all had different life situations, different scenarios, different traumas. But the one real thing was that they could not let go. They couldn't let go of what happened to them in the past. They couldn't let go of the fact that they didn't have a father. They couldn't let go of the fact that their mother was an alcoholic, or they couldn't let go of the fact that they were molested, or they couldn't let go of the fact that whatever. And I'm not saying these aren't serious issues, because these are very serious issues. But the real issue is the fact that people are holding on to these things like it's going to benefit them. So I use this as an example. I'm like, okay, this is your self-doubt. This is your trauma from your father not being in your life. This is your alcoholic mother. This is when you got molested. This is when you ended up getting sent away from your house, right? This is what it's like to hold on to a bunch of shit. Humans are holding on to the past. This is the past. And it's like, no wonder why they can't build the future. How do you expect to build anything with your hands full, right? So, my example is let the shit go, right? Just let it go. Because, that's really all ayahuasca does, or mushrooms, or something like that, is it knows you have a bunch of shit in your hand, and it shows you everything that's in your hand. And you didn't even know you were holding these things. Right? You thought that they were a part of you. You thought that the trauma was a part of who you were. No, it's just a part of the things you're holding on to. So, really, I think the main issue is learning how to let go. That's just the one thing we need to focus on is learn how to let go. And learn how to let go a little smoother, a little quicker, a little easier, so it's a little smoother in your life. Because your life will run smoother if you let go of the bullshit holding you back. So then you can build the future. Because, I was thinking to myself, I'm already stressed the fuck out, from me trying to build the future a little bit. Sometimes I stress because, I'm trying to make sure my future is good and my kids' future is good. So I'm trying to make sure I set up things today, tomorrow, and the next day so I can set up next week, so I can have next week come, so I can build the next month, so forth and so on. So I have no idea how somebody could have time to like also hold on to all their shit, but also build the future. And it reminds me that that's why people don't build the future, and that's why people get stuck. People get stuck being who they've always been, or where they've always been, or stuck at the job that they hate, or stuck thinking, woe is me. But they get stuck this way because they're holding on to it instead of building something new. You're holding on to the old you instead of building the new you. And that's really it. We hold on to the ideas of religion. We hold on to the ideas of self. We hold on to the ideas of ego. The idea that you like rap music and you don't like country music. The idea that you like chocolate ice cream but you don't like vanilla ice cream. These are just ideas that you're holding on to, and you generally, none of it's real, right? You could be, if you have nothing but vanilla ice cream and that's all you have for the rest of your life, eventually you'll like vanilla ice cream because maybe you'll want ice cream, but the only thing you have is vanilla ice cream. Wow, eventually you might like it compared to, might not, comparing it to chocolate, you might be like, well, chocolate's better. But what if there was no such thing as chocolate? You might be like, hey, vanilla ice cream is the shit. So what I mean is, when you give yourself no other option, then there is just what is. So, like, don't give yourself an option. Stop giving yourself an option to hold on to your bullshit and let the shit go and let it shatter, because, the whole things you're holding on to are like glass. You're going to let them go and they're going to shatter, and then it's going to make you shatter because you're going to cry and, go through your problems and go through all this other shit. But, like, you need to go through your shit so you can let go of your shit so you can gain better shit. Like, maybe you want to hold on to some things, but it's hard to hold on to something when you're already holding on to a bunch of other shit. So, like, choose what you hold on to carefully. Be careful with the way you hold on to shit. Because watching that documentary just reminded me the only problem that I see is everyone has a problem with letting go. And I know it's a lot easier said than done. And I know that, like, if you had trauma happen to you, it's hard to let it go. But there is no other option. It's either you let it go or you don't. No one is going to force you to do anything, and no one sleeps with you at night, right? No one is with you all 24 hours of the day but you. So you got to be okay. If you want to hold on to your trauma, hold on to it. But understand that you're the one holding on to it. No one has a gun to your head. No one's forcing you to think the way you think. No one's forcing you to be the way you are. But the reason why people take ayahuasca, the reason why people take mushrooms, is because this is what mushrooms do. This is what ayahuasca does, except so bluntly in front of you that there's nothing you can do about it. That, like, me sitting here just telling you guys, listen, that your trauma is your fault and you're holding on to it and yada yada yada. That's only because the psychedelics have done that to me so many times that I'm like, well, I think that's the message for a lot of it, is that the message of the psychedelics tends to be, let go of the fucking trauma that's making you sad, you dumb monkeys. Like, there's a funniness to it. There's a funniness to punching you in the face with your own trauma. The psychedelic experience has a funny way of dealing with things, or making you deal with things. But that's why people want to do psychedelics. That's why they want to do ayahuasca in the first place. They want to do ayahuasca because they think it's going to be this beautiful, magical mother ayahuasca that guides them and heals them through their trauma. But it's never as beautiful as it sounds, and it's never as scary as it sounds. It's always about in the middle. So, I just think that if we learn how to deal with the trauma of our past without the psychedelics, then the psychedelics can help us with so much other shit. If you go into the psychedelic experience with trauma, You will not be able to learn about aliens. You will not be able to learn about death. I mean, maybe you'll learn about death a little bit, but like, you're not going to learn about the deep esoteric knowledge and deep shit that psychedelics have to offer if you're stuck on the trauma that your father was an alcoholic, or you're anxiety ridden because of this and that, or you're whatever. Like, deal with your shit. And the psychedelic experience is what? 5 hours? 12 hours? Sometimes 5 minutes. You have to deal with your shit 24/7. Like, all hours of the day, you have to continuously work on your shit. That's what integration means. Integration means that you integrate what the psychedelic has taught you into your physical life. So, start doing what you're thinking. Start doing what you need to be doing. And stop doing what you don't need to be doing. Because, like, stop doing the shit that's fucking shit up. Stop thinking the thoughts that's fucking you up. And start thinking thoughts that can better your future. Start thinking thoughts that can make you happy. Start doing things that makes you happy, right? But I just think, that's just the thing I've learned from psychedelics, is that they really, really, really do want you to be, they're just trying to show you, right? So, like, the problem is the old you and the fake you and the traumatized you is all in the way of you seeing the real you. So you have to remove all of that and let it all go, and let go of the idea of yourself. Because you think you're a certain person, but you're not that person. You think that you're somebody, but you're not that. You are somebody, but you're not the somebody you think you are. And once you can let go of the ideas of who you want to be, and then accept who you actually are, then you'll see that that's who you've been the whole time. It's just like you're playing a game, and you're just acting. And you're acting like you're traumatized. You're acting like you're whatever. And now, this might be misconstrued the wrong way, but what I mean is, we're all acting like we're traumatized. We're acting like there's a problem because we're fucking gods. We are all the creator, consciousness, God that is here in the physical realm. So you can go ahead and continuously act like you're a human being, and go ahead and act because you have amnesia and you have forgotten who you really are. But let me tell you, who you really are is so big that it would make your small little problems seem insignificant. And yes, some problems are huge. Some people have had horrible, horrible childhoods. But still, compared to the actual reality that's going on in the universe, you are so huge. So you can play the character of playing the victim. You can play the character of playing the hero. You can play the character of playing the traumatized child, or you can play the character of the child who was traumatized but then got over their trauma and became the person they were meant to be. But all of it is just a character, because we're all just slivers, little slivers of the actual giant tree that we call life. So, yeah, I just think we need to learn to let go and learn to accept what is.